Hello everyone, it's Carrie from sunshineinmypocket.com. Today I have a fun owl postcard using some of the brand new supplies from Missing Stamps. This is the owls stamp set. There are lots of owls, lots of sentiments, and some really great accessories, even a window. Then I'm going to use this Postmarks stamp set that's a smaller stamp set but really packs a punch. Then I've got the Postage seal and shaker collection. I'm going to use lots of pieces from there. And then I've got the Shields and Crests mini die set. There are a couple other mini die sets here that were released at the same time. These are all separate. You can see here that I've already put some of these mini shields together, and some of the little characters fit perfectly on those shields. It's really, really cute. So I thought I'd put all of these together and make a card. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already cut out this postage edge, which cuts out the center piece. I've cut out multiple pieces of those, and I'm going to set the frames aside while I work on the inside piece. I'm going to color these up with some Distress spray stains today, and I'm going to warn you as I bring in my very well-loved, well-used box that if you do this, you may want to wear gloves if you don't like inky fingers. I certainly got my fingers inked a lot through this process. Now this is regular cardstock, it's heavyweight cardstock, and I'm adding quite a bit of water, and I'm trying to be careful and mindful of how much I add because it's not watercolor paper and it's not mixed media paper, it's just cardstock. So as I dry that off, I'm going to add a little bit more of both of those colors of the Distress spray stain. Then I'll add some more water, and look at my fingers already. Yes, this is a little bit of a messy endeavor. If you don't want to have such a mess, then you don't need to pick it up and dry it like this, but I really like to let the inks move around. Now I'm going to splatter each of the colors that I use. So there were two different colors here, and I'll use the nozzles just to add a little bit of those drops. And then I'm also going to bring in some Mica spray stain. This is a beautiful blue one that I've got here, and I'm going to add some of that just for a little extra shine. So it's really easy to do this. I would always recommend doing this inside of a box so that you don't get your work surface all covered in these spray stains. Now I have some really beautiful, kind of a satiny blue specialty paper, and I've had this for a really long time. And I'm also going to use this little mini crest to go in the middle of the faux wax seal. And I'm just going to build that up a little bit. I built that up off screen, and I will have a video later on showing how to build up these wax seals in different ways you can do that. But this one, the little H shield, fit really well in there, and that's from a previous release. And this is kind of how I'm envisioning this to lay out on my card. There is a small little stamp here that says Owl Post, and that's what I want to put on the top of my panel. Now this has completely dried. I set that aside to dry for quite some time and made sure it was fully dry before doing this, because I'm using some VersaMark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, and I'm going to add some silver embossing powder to that. So by making sure it's totally dry, it's only going to stick to that VersaMark and not to the entire background. You can test it out to make sure, if you're not completely sure it's dry, test it out by just adding a sprinkling of the embossing powder on the panel itself before you do the stamping. I'm also going to add one of these cancellation marks, which comes in the Postmarks mini stamp set, and I'm going to heat emboss that with silver as well. So those are going to add a little more shine to our background. They're a little bit subtle, but also really shiny. Look at that. I love the look of that. So now let's go ahead and build up our scene. I'm going to use these little mini shields right here with the owl to the right of that, and I decided to turn that little package, the broomstick, around. I added some dark blue cardstock behind the entire scene, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to the card base now. You can see I've cut out a sentiment already from the center, but no one's ever going to know because we're going to cover it up with our scene. Now I'll layer up each of those postage edges. I've got 3 of them here. I'll layer those all together. I'm using a new glass mat, and I'm not used to working on this. Everything's a little more slippery, and there's a little bit of a glare as well. So I'm still learning the best ways to do video with that. So as I add this postage edge, I'm also going to add this panel to the center. So we'll go ahead and glue that down. Just everything is with liquid adhesive, nice and simple. Just in the center there, and I'll push that down. And then we can add the mini shields just like this. I'm going to line those up, and then I'll add each of those with some liquid adhesive as well. And I'll go ahead and glue that broomstick to the owl so we can put all of this on in one piece. So I'll let that dry before we add that. I'll glue these shields on with liquid adhesive and then add the owl with some foam adhesive, so foam tape. So I'm just lining these up, and if you're familiar, you probably recognize these shields and representing which house they are. I love building these up and making them a little bit different. Now there, look at that seal. It's beautiful. So I'm going to add that right there. I used some foam tape on one side of the seal, and I'm adding liquid adhesive to the other just to glue right down to the outside border. Since we built that up, it only needs the foam tape on the inside portion. And then I added some foam tape to that owl. We'll put him right about there, just like that. And that is it. Now you can add some more details if you want. You can add some of the other cutouts from that faux wax seal, but I thought this looked fine. You can see some of that shimmering in the background from the mica spray, and you can see all the different variations in the shiny embossing powder to that faux wax seal made with specialty paper. Just so pretty and lots to glimmer in the light. I hope you enjoyed this project today. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'll be back real soon with more inspiration, more cards to share, and more fun. Thanks for stopping by today. Bye-bye.